Yeah, must. By right, by right.
Lucky some no budget for that.
Forgot. Hi, I'm Sylvester, and this is my story. Okay, before I started running a workshop, I was a driving instructor, believe it or not. That was in 2005. So I was flipping the newspaper looking for a job related to driving again, just cars. In the papers last time, right, you have jobs for drivers, even chauffeurs, car dealers. Then I came across driving instructor. So that's where I went for the interview and got the job. I didn't know I will end up opening or running a car repair shop. All I wanted was to learn more about cars. So I went for the automotive technology course in ITE during my working days at the driving center. So it took me 4 years to finish the certificate because I was studying part-time. I just wanted to learn more and hope to get a foothold or just to get a step nearer to my goal, hoping that was the way to enter the industry, because motorsports is out at that point of time. I didn't have the money, I didn't have the means. I mean, me and my friends went for short stints at Johor Circuit, or they call it Pasir Gudang last time, with our cars, with our bikes, but that was it. Just a simple track day, 5 lap CCT or something like that, and that's about it. I even went for advanced drivers training and all that, but it didn't go anywhere, nothing, nowhere. So then a friend of mine introduced me to a franchise for a car repair shop, which was a new thing many years ago. Nobody has done it before, but this company was running a franchise program for aspiring business owners who think that they want to enter the automotive industry. So I wasn't really looking at opening a car workshop, but this friend of mine managed to persuade me, and then that's how I ended up joining this industry. I've always wanted to find a way to stand out from the crowd, always, since day one. Joining the franchise was actually one of the reasons, because any Tom, Dick and Harry could have just opened a car workshop with or without car knowledge. Anybody, really, Singapore, anybody, because you don't need any certificate to run a business here in Singapore or anywhere. Even the mechanics don't need much certification. But the selling point at that point of time was nobody or no company in Singapore or no car company in Singapore runs a franchise workshop. So I joined a franchise thinking that was their selling point. So it was quite easy. But another side of me was thinking, where should I go if I start running my own? Because I know I wouldn't be doing this in the long run. And franchise is a franchise. After all, it's still not your own business and not your own brand. So right now, for Car Doctor, this name was brainstormed together with a an old friend of mine. We wanted a catchy name or a simple name that's easily remembered by anybody. So Car Doctor was what we came out with. So I thought a bit, how should I say? It was simple, but I think yet easy to remember. So now everybody would just call me Dr. Han, Dr. Han. I've been looking for ways to stand out from the crowd. That means to be different from other workshops, but I actually couldn't really find a way to do that. But what I focused on was, you can say, customer service. Not really customer service, but I try to be friends with my customers. Really, everybody. Anyone that comes into my shop or walk through my doors, I will try to greet them personally. If not, I'll get my guys to do it properly and be friendly lah. Because last time, right, well, I tell you, workshops, everybody say workshop, the moment you enter the shop, you sure cannot, I don't know, what you call that? Chop. Yeah, so I don't want that kind of image when somebody comes to a workshop, especially to mine. Although I don't say it out loud, but I always look at how they approach customers, whether is it regular or not. They should at least talk to them with a smile. But I know, because I've been there and done that. I've been a mechanic. I'm not just a business owner or workshop owner that just sits in the office and issue invoices or shake my leg and. So I was a mechanic. I was also trained as a mechanic, but I know how tough it is to smile even when you're very busy. And then, yeah, but I always tell them, just try to do that. It's simple, not difficult, right? I don't know whether I should say that or not. I had a few staff that pull a long face whenever somebody approaches them when they are, at work. Yeah, but I don't like that. At least you smile. Anything else, later then we say. Yeah. Okay. No, this is a very simple but also a question that I've asked myself many times. I don't know about other people, but the word success has been used all over the place, really. But in my opinion, there isn't a baseline or a guideline or anything of that sort, right, to measure success, because this word is very broad. Some people can be very successful in life, but they don't have high earnings or very big companies or running big businesses. They can be successful in their own way. So to say success, right, I wouldn't say I am successful, but to other people, they may think I am successful because I left a job, or you can say a stable job, and then I came into this business world, and then every day fighting hard to survive, or to find ways to survive every month, which every business owner is facing. To me, if you are successful, as long as you are happy in what you are doing, I think that's how I define success. Yeah. I came across my fair share of difficult customers along the years for the past, the years since I've started running this business. Everybody or every business will have their, own kind of what we call typical hard to please customers. For me, as long as they treat us with respect, right, I will still, how should I say, I will not scare or push away customers, or we can say difficult customers, no. I'll just continue doing what I'm supposed to do, and that's about it lah. Don't engage with them too much. Just do what we are supposed to do with their cars, that's all. Yeah. In fact, I just learned what we call the tips and tricks of this industry. Just only, imagine I've been in this industry for, there are people who are in this for even way longer than me, but I was here for at least 12 years. I just learned about some tips and tricks on running a so-called profitable or successful car workshop. One of them is following up on a customer. I don't usually do that, We don't usually do that. After we are done with the car, or after we are done with repairing the car, usually it is the customers that either return to us or call us to tell us how their car is doing, rather than us following up. But in actual fact, we should be the one doing that, which I didn't do for the past 10 years. I didn't. Frankly speaking, I didn't. But when I started learning more about this trade, following up is actually one of the least that you can do, but also the most important thing that you can do to your customers. I'm just beginning to do that, but slowly and gradually. The only thing that we have been doing so far is we jot down what needs to be monitored after a certain repair. Maybe like 1 week after, or a few days after, or a month later, or even at the next visit or the next appointment. We write it down in the invoice so that both the customers and us will know what to follow up next. But physically calling and asking them on how is the car doing and all that, right? We are working on it, currently. At the current state of our car industry, right, or the bike industry, I have a feeling that those who aspire, or those who actually start their own workshops, most of them will most probably be an enthusiast themselves. This is what I think. If you don't have interest in that industry or that particular trade, right, you wouldn't have gone into it lah. That's what I think. Whether they know how to repair cars or not is another thing. But I always relate running a car workshop and being a race car driver to be almost the same thing. A lot of people like me, or a lot of boys or ladies these days that love motorsports, right? Everybody wants the glamorous part of being a racer. Nobody wants to do the dirty job of being the mechanic or the person that get their hands dirty working on a car. Nobody. Everybody wants to be the F1 driver, the rally driver, the glamour side, but back end nobody want to do. So if you really want to run a workshop, right, beside the love for cars, which everybody can say, so easy to say, you must at least know your stuff. Even if you don't want to get your hands dirty, you should know what you are doing and what your guys or your mechanics are doing on other people's car. In fact, you can't stop people, you cannot please everybody in the world. No, you cannot please everyone. So there are bound to be people that are displeased with the way you do things, the way you do business. Everywhere, not only me, or not only us, everywhere. We just learn to take it in our stride or maybe even choose to ignore them. As long as we do our best, we know what we did was the best way or the only way or the correct way, then there's nothing much we can do already. We have Google reviews with suddenly someone, I don't even know who because they don't use their real names. They just submit a review 1 star, that's all. I don't even know why, don't even know what we did, and things like that. But you just have to take it. As long as 9 out of 10 are positive, that one is okay lah. You can't help it lah. How should I put it? I won't say that we are one of their biggest customers, but I also told them before, I was once their small-time customer, and I was a fan of them when we were younger. Because Garacha has been around for many, many years. I think at least 30, 40 years? I don't know. I cannot remember. But during the 80s and 90s, when Singapore was still quite active in the motorsport scene, right? Like the Kallang car park rallies and all that, they were already there. Then Lester Wong was one of the, people racing for them. I knew them when I was like such a fanboy. And then when I got into this industry and I realized I could be a part of them, like join them and carry their products, right? I jumped at the chance. So along the way, we built a relationship where I started selling their products, which is mainly HKS, and along the way, I also found out that they actually didn't have much online presence. They had physical store, physical presence, motorsports experience. They didn't really put much thought into e-commerce. So that was where I suggested maybe I sort of like car doctor sort of like take over the online side of things for the HKS products. But we actually only start with their maintenance products first instead of their performance parts. Yeah, we may go into that as the years go by, but for now it's just maintenance products or the lubricants and such. Yeah.
Almost every car enthusiast wants to know, I mean in general, the hopes for the car industry, be it whatever they build their car for, whether is it for stars, whatever, for generally the car culture in general, doesn't matter whether you're into stars, low car lifestyle or sports track or audio, doesn't matter. What do you foresee in the next 10 years? And do you have some worry, do you have some expectation, or what are your hopes in the near future for this industry? I know it's a difficult question, but I just want to hear it from a workshop owner, from you, and also from a friend.
I am not so sure about other workshop owners, but whatever I'm going to say next, right, is based on my own honest opinions.
Yeah.
Okay? First of all, I don't judge. Whether you come to me, okay, I may not have credentials like some workshop owners you know who I'm talking about lah. They have maybe racing experience, they may have 10, 20 years of experience behind their back. I may not have all this, but I have my own experience, my own expertise, but I don't judge. Whether is it stunts, whether is it tracky, whether is it audiophile, or whether is it what else? I don't know. Any form of motorcycle or bike enthusiast, right? I never judge. I just, still treat them the same, like a friend or like a customer. But for me, myself, right, I have given up hope on motorsports in Singapore. Not in general, but in Singapore. I still like the scene. Okay, for example, ever since F1 became the new 1.6 turbo, right, I've never watched a single F1 race ever since. The last V8 and V10, that was the last few races I've watched, even followed. Until then, if I was given a free ticket, then I go. Otherwise, I don't even follow them on TV. But in general, I still like, because I'm into a little bit of sim racing now, a little bit, okay? But motorsports as a whole in Singapore, right, on the four-wheeler side, I have almost just left it as it is. We don't say whether is there going to be an improvement or not. Those who are trying to keep the scene alive, I think they are doing a very good job. They can afford it, they love it, by all means. Me, myself, I don't want, I cannot. Okay? But motorcycles, right, still alive and kicking, because maybe they are still considered accessible, meaning affordable. A lot of old-time racers that I know, right, they are back racing again, motorcycle. Why? Because they are making use of the go-kart tracks in Singapore to do their supermotards, to do their whatever super cup racing. I mean, not big bikes, not high speeds, but technical skills involved and all that, and they are still alive and kicking. But for the car scene, right, sad to say, we are reduced to the point where we only can go for meetups, sit down, drink coffee, and pray the police don't come to the car park. That's all. Very bad, really very bad. That is my opinion. I'm not saying anything. But that's the only thing we can do. Unless you have the time and the resources to drag your car all the way to where? The nearest is where now? Malacca. The nearest track that you can find for cars, which is Malacca. The more popular one will be Sepang International Circuit. Yeah, so if you have the time, by all means. But in Singapore, nothing, nowhere. You can't do anything except for go-karting. But go-karting has been around for many, many years, so I guess it won't die. But I don't see our authorities doing anything to improve the situation. No, I don't. So, again...
Are you hopeful?
Frankly,
you tell me.
Frankly, from my heart, no. Okay, unless, I don't know, unless somewhere along the way we have a very powerful minister and whoever who likes his cars and bikes, then we have a chance. Otherwise, forget it. Really, really forget it. We like our cars, but what can we do? Unless one of us from the scene, right, enters politics and then do something about it, then we may have a chance. Otherwise, the infrastructure here already against us already. Why? Because we are not allowed growth for the number of cars in Singapore. Not allowed, as in you're already set at zero growth, things like that. With the high COE and all that. My expat customers are my customers from another foreign country, right? They all drive small cars because they think the cars in Singapore are way, 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 way too expensive. They just need a simple car to run around and do their errands. But for us, right, for most enthusiasts or most Singaporeans, right, I think we are so used to the price of the cars that we don't, I don't know, many don't feel the pinch. Maybe we are used to it lah. But when a foreigner or a third party comes into play, right, they will wake you up by saying things like, are we crazy? Why are we doing all this? Okay, yes, we can still buy off-road or what we call track-registered cars in Singapore. But you must have a space to keep. Not everybody can do that. And you must have resources to tow the car to and fro just for your track days or your racing or whatever. Not many can do that lah. So I say it's only for those who are really into it, who thinks that it's worth paying for it, by all means. But I shall not judge. But me, myself, I'll just do whatever I can, but I can say I've given up on motorsports myself.